right, it's been 5 minutes, so hopefully that's been enough time for people to join us. I think we can launch into today's webinar. So, my name is Megan Lee. I'm a teacher librarian, and I'm a facilitator with Libraries Without Borders, or Bibliothèques Sans Frontières. For today's webinar, we have a guest with us, Michelle Ciliberti, who is a librarian and activist at Foresti Library. And we also have the other members of our team from BSF, Claire Elouin, who's the project manager and LiBri coordinator at BSF. We have Marie Leprigeon, who's a project manager assistant at BSF. So thank you all for being here. This webinar is being conducted in English. So if you need assistance or would like translation, please go ahead and follow these steps to activate your subtitles. Step number 1, join the Teams meeting and click More, the 3 little dots at the top of the screen. It's next to the camera and the microphone button. Choose Language and Speech. Then, from the options, select Show Live Captions. Step number 2, the subtitles banner appears at the bottom of the screen below the camera views. On the right-hand corner of that banner, please click on Language Settings. Then you can select the language of your choice, as seen in the next slide. Step 3, a language setting page will open. Please leave the spoken language speaking in the meeting to English and activate the button on the left of Translate to and choose your language. Okay, if you're having any questions or need any assistance, please go ahead and write us in the chat. Today's agenda is as follows. We're going to have a brief introduction about partnerships, specifically with this project, the LiBri project. Then we're going to talk about some resources from the toolkits. Then we will have our guest speaker, Michelle, who will be talking to us about her experience generating and working with partnerships in Genoa, Italy. We'll have a Q&A, and we'll have a closing with an evaluation and a save the date for our next series in March. Our norms of participation. We have 4 things that we request of everyone during our webinar series. First of all, non-judgment. We ask that you come with an open mind and that you listen and respect other people's ideas. Number 2, participation. Thank you for being here. When you participate by writing in the chat, by giving a reaction, it can be a happy face, it could be a thumbs up, anything like that, it makes us feel connected. For those of you who have your microphones, if you want to use your microphone, please just raise your hand and we would love to hear your voice. And thank you to those of you who are using the camera. It's great to see your face. Number 3, confidentiality. An important note about using the camera is that we are recording this webinar and it will be posted online and shared on YouTube for others to view. So just keep that in mind. Also, anything you say, again, please refrain from giving specific details about the patrons of your library, for instance, their names, etc. Thank you. And 4th, we ask that you turn off your microphone if you're not speaking to avoid an echo. All right, so participation icebreaker. Before we dive into our theme of fostering partnerships, I want to know what you guys are already wanting to learn about partnerships today. So, when building a strong partnership, what matters most to you? This is an open-ended question. No right answer, no wrong answer. What matters most when building a partnership? Please respond in the chat, or if you want to use your microphone, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll give you all a few minutes to answer. Thank you. All right. Sustainability in the involvement. Excellent. Respect and tolerance. Commitment. Confidence. Excellent. Like trust, I think. Very nice. Communication. Again, sustainable. Okay, excellent. How does this partnership concretely help potential patrons? Oh, I like this one too, helping in both ways. We're going to talk about that today as well. Shared visions, clear objectives, working in a team, shared understanding of goals and objectives. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to now pass the microphone to Claire, and she's going to talk about how within the LiBri project, there has been a fostering of partnerships. Take it away.
Sure, thank you, Megan. So I would like just to quickly remember what is the LiBri project, in which we have two levels actually of partnerships. So the LiBri project is supporting 50 libraries in Europe to create partnerships in order to better support migrant needs. And it's implemented by a consortium of 7 organizations. So ourselves, we are implementing the project as partners. And then you can go to the next slide, Marie. So the 50 partner cities are these in France, Italy, Latvia, Poland, Romania. Maybe some of you are here today. And in this project, we have supported each librarians to create partnerships, so local partnerships. So what do we mean by local partnerships? So when we launch our call for interest to join the project, we requested each library to obtain the support of their local authorities. The idea was that we wanted the library to be supported by the authorities because we were going to support them to think about strategies and actions they can implement, and for them to be sustainable, it's better, of course, to have the support of your authorities. And then we also encourage them to involve local associations or TCN-led groups of associations to be able to create from the start actions, plans that would involve partners at the local level in order to have stronger effects and stronger impacts. And then we encourage each local partnerships to sign an MOU that would describe what each partners was committed to do and for how long. Yeah, next slide. So just to tell you a bit about the methodology, so these local partnerships, we supported them to create local action plan. So these local action plans were developed by the local authorities, the local associations, and the library together in order to decide which actions, what was the priority for them, to what actions they wanted to implement in the libraries and in the city to better support migrants in their integration. So this methodology has been developed by our member FRSI, and our Polish member, and the first step of the methodology was for the partners to conduct, for the local partners to conduct a local diagnosis, which means understanding better who were the migrant audiences in their area, what were their needs, and for that they conducted focus group, interview, and then analyzed the data. Based on this data, they conducted a strategic workshop. So the strategic workshop gathered migrant audiences, the local authorities, and the librarians of each city to decide what was the goal they wanted to achieve. What will be for them the ideal city, the ideal library to support migrant users. So once they decided these objectives based on the data they collected, they conducted a hackathon. So maybe some of you are familiar with the concept of hackathon. So a hackathon is a creative tool to brainstorm all together. So the local partnerships gathered, and also in some city we also involved also the local communities and TCNs. Migrants. TCNs is the EU vocabulary. And then they decided what were the solutions, what were the concrete actions they wanted to develop together, and on which period, like where were they going to develop this action in 1 week, 1 month, 2 years, and how would they collaborate together? How would they evaluate if the action was successful? So this is what we've done in LiBri, and we have this process was a very cost-effective way to gather very good ideas and good ideas and solutions to encourage migrants' participation, also to empower librarians in being the one who develop the strategy for their libraries and to really appropriate the solutions they created. So we are very happy of the results we've had in this process. And so we have developed a manual that explains a bit more in detail what this methodology is. So it's a step-by-step practical guide on how to organize the strategic workshop, how to conduct a local diagnosis, and how to organize the hackathon. So if you are interested in replicating this methodology, you can contact us, or you can also use this manual, because we really believe that this methodology can be easily replicated and led by other cities.
Thank you, Claire, for explaining that process. That's so helpful. It's a very big project, and we're so excited that so many of you are still tuning in, being involved, and joining us, even if you're not in one of those 50 cities. So we're extending the partnerships. Thank you, guys. So one of the another resource that I'd love to share with you, hopefully a lot of you already have this incredible resource, but it is the toolkits that were created to help everyone with this practice of welcoming migrants into public library spaces. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and download the toolkits, which I've shared in the link. And I want to just highlight, before we get into our guest speaker's presentation, a few of the resources and the tips and tricks that were included within this research document to help you all in your library spaces. So the first idea is about creating hubs of information and support. So it's important to understand that doing this work, it should not be alone, that partnerships are going to be the backbone of any successful library strategy for supporting migrants. Libraries that actively engage with local administration bodies, nonprofits, and migrant support services are better positioned to inform migrants about their rights, understand evolving community needs, and connect newcomers to the right services and resources. So I'm highlighting from here a few things from the book, the toolkit entitled Supportive and Welcoming Information Hubs, and it's from the action area number 3, Partnerships with Local Administration and Support Networks. So a few things that partnerships can help libraries create. First of all, provide relevant, up-to-date information on services and organizations in the area. Next, refer migrants to the appropriate organizations, example, with healthcare, with housing, with legal advice. Set up dedicated computers or tablets with key websites or links. And finally, host joint events or information and orientation workshops. Again, the idea is that you as a librarian are not a specialist in migration, right? And that's where the partnerships are going to help you. And they're going to help you with making sure that your patrons that have those information needs have information that is most up to date. An idea to try, and I've highlighted this in previous webinars, but I love this resource so much that I just want to share it again. And an idea to try is to develop a simple startup package that includes local guides. So if someone enters your library as a new patron and they're from a migration situation, then maybe you would want to hand them a resource right away, first day, right when you meet them. And this is a great resource from the city of Paris. It's called What Is That? And they are available in French in many metropolitan cities, not just Paris, and they're translated into several different languages. And it's an information guide for people in exile. And as you can see, it's been updated, as it says, February through March 2026. Another example that I'm showcasing here that I really liked is from the town of Villeurbanne. And that is another essential just kind of guide to the city with really helpful images, etc., so that people that are just new to a city can understand where can they go to get medical assistance if there's an emergency, to sleep for the night. Just a simple startup package you just hand over, ready to go. Continuing with that idea, the other thing that people in a migration situation need, besides kind of where can they go to sleep, etc., those necessities, is language, right? Language acquisition. And so another resource that I'm thinking about, that I think that you guys should all think about with your startup package that you're creating for people in a migration situation, is something like a resource where you as a team have access to information about what language acquisition opportunities are available in your city. So I loved this. I found this when I was doing a training in the city of Rouen, Rouen, and they have this Padlet that's updated by local organizations. It's not the librarians that update it, it's the local organizations that update it, and they give links to all of the different resources and language conversation classes, but other types of language classes that are going on, so they can share it with library patrons who have this need of language acquisition. So it's just about thinking about how to use technology to create places where you're digitally sharing information that will be easy for you to transfer over to someone in need. This is another idea to try, which is
sorry, Megan, may I interrupt for a sec?
Yeah, please.
No, I just wanted to add that for those of you, because the What Is That manual is actually developed by a different organization. So for those of you who might not necessarily have the needs to have a proper website or cannot find a proper website or guides that exist in your city, it's actually possible to do a very low-cost version. I'm going to share the pictures in the chat, but if you have just a panel and like some paper sheets, people can collect with basic information on where they can find language classes or access to public bathroom or these kind of things, is already a very nice ID and easy to replicate ID low-cost solution to spread this kind of information.
Thank you, Claire. Excellent. And so that goes into our second one. Again, you are not the expert here on legal support for people that have these kind of questions. And so it's about creating a dedicated social support sessions. And I'm going to be highlighting a program at the BPI, again in France. So research shows that while libraries are widely seen as trusted institutions capable of responding to newcomers' needs, many librarians admit to having limited direct contact with migrants and are often unaware of the specific challenges these groups face. To address this, it's necessary to regularly consult with migrant groups, support associations, and other involved stakeholders. Another idea is to try to offer dedicated social support sessions. At the Bibliothèques Publiques d'Information in Paris, the BPI, trained mediators offer short, one-on-one guidance sessions without prior appointment. These 20-minute interviews help identify users' needs and direct them toward appropriate services, including legal aid, administrative support, and social services. Outside of regular opening hours, the library also makes its self-learning service available to groups referred by social support organizations, as well as offering a dedicated self-training area for members of associations working in the social field. So I'm passing those links here as well in the chat, so you could check out those programs. But I love that idea of having just office hours once a month, once a week, whatever your library and your partner organization can do can accommodate, where people know I can come in at this time and I can get assistance with filling out this form, for instance. Okay, so Claire was talking about this idea of you don't have a what is that, you don't have this incredible graphic designed, beautiful kind of document and guide. Most of us do not, right? I live in the Provence in the south of France. There's no guide like that. So what could I do if I was working at the local library here? Well, I could create a local phone book. And this is an idea that we have. It's an activity for you to do with your team at your library and with other partners. And so it's found within our toolkit on page 52. And if you go to the next slide, it's kind of helpful. So the aim of this activity is to collaboratively develop a comprehensive directory or phone book of essential services and support organizations serving migrants. This will provide a practical resource for library staff, enabling them to refer migrants and help them navigate available services more effectively. So just to show you as an idea, the type of help: legal aid, social services, employment, community resources, and education. And you just kind of fill in these boxes. So this could be done on an Excel grid, wherever you want it, to make it a shareable document that's easy for you to see, but also, very importantly, easy to update. Because these people, the contacts, the numbers, things can change. So you want to be sure that you revisit this document once it's created. Okay, so a last note before I pass it on to Michelle and we go into our Q&A session is about community outreach volunteers. So again, don't do it alone, utilize volunteers. As a final note, one way libraries can extend their reach is by identifying trusted community members, especially migrants themselves, right? Then they're going to feel more invested when they see themselves as members of the community giving information. Or individuals that are well established and active in local associations to help share information about library services and communities within migrant communities and networks. Outreach can also include using social media platforms popular among specific migrant groups to promote activities and to share updates in accessible formats. So a thing to think about is university students, right? They are people that sometimes need to get hours or want to develop training and experience. They're a great idea of a group to try to contact. So I'm going to finish with this, some tips and tricks to sum up that were, again, from the toolkits. Number one, map your local ecosystem. So that's kind of the idea we just talked about with that activity of creating the phone book. Identify, connect with local organizations, services, and solidarity actors to support migrants. Number two, build regular communication channels. So maintain a list of local services for quick and easy signposting. Number three, create clear referral pathways. Establish a clear, ongoing point of contact with key partner organizations for easy referrals. Number four, host co-organized events with partners. If you're going to do an info session, do it together. If you're going to do an orientation session, do it together. And number five, ask for feedback from migrants and partners. So continuously assess if services are accessible, are they relevant, and adjust based on needs. So that was pretty quick going through that, but now we're going to move into our guest speaker. If there were any questions on that portion, any other comments, Claire, you wanted to make, please go ahead.
Yes, sorry. I just wanted to say, so as you may see in the toolkit, so first part of the toolkit is about theories and definitions, and the second part is about practical activities you can organize in your library and with migrants or inside your team. And so in these activities, every time we specify, like, it will be good to organize this activity with this partner or this partner. So it can also help you to identify your potential partners.
Thank you for talking about that format. Excellent. So Michelle, I would like to now welcome you to join us, and I would like to introduce you. So I have with us today Michelle Ciliberti, who's our guest speaker, who's a librarian and activist from Foresti, the free neighborhood library of Via Pre in Genoa. I apologize if I messed up the Italian.
It's okay, it's okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Michelle Ciliberti. As Megan said, I come from Genoa. I work in Foresti, which is an NGO. It is an association, but it's also a free library, a free neighborhood library. Just a question: can I control the slideshow? Or just Marie? Okay, so maybe I could share it from my computer because it's a bit better for me. Okay, do you see it?
I see it. Looks great.
Okay. Just because I'm, it is complementary to what I say. So, as I said, I come from Genoa. Genoa is a very special type of city because I've seen that there are a few people who come from Italy as well. You might know Genoa is known to be the city of shade and light, and it is not another fantasy book title. It is the truth. Genova has fostered a lot of immigration and traditionally being a port city has been connected with especially the center that lies just in front of the port has been connected with well, immigration, but also a lot of criminal activities. So we work in what is considered one of the most dangerous neighborhood of Genova. But honestly, I think that is not the truth. That is quite a prejudice. It is a neighborhood that hosts a lot of immigration, yes, a lot of criminal activities, yes, but a lot of interculture, a lot of, a lot of relationships, a lot of ideas. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. So, who we are? Semiforesti is a nonprofit organization based in Genoa. As I said, it works across 4 macro areas: education and training, inclusion and support of vulnerable people, rights, and culture. So, what this means is that we are an association and a free library that holds courses for learning Italian for migrants, includes and supports people who are vulnerable, for example, people who have a disability, people who are doing some sort of after prison, path, and they can work with us to just finish their community service and also enter into a network of different people and learn new skills. Right, it is a main career for us because we try to also, as said before, we try to inform migrants and whoever comes to our association about their rights, where they should go to, I don't know, ask for housing, ask for documents, ask for whatever. So we try to do that as well. And of course, culture. Culture is really, the glue of it all. And this is really connected to our core belief that relationships are our primary capital. Relationships are culture. Different culture need to interact with each other in order to create relationships. And within a neighborhood such as ours, which is considered with prejudice one of the worst because there are criminals, prostitutions, drugs, but there are also a lot of cultural experience, food, ideas. In a neighborhood such as ours, it is only good, strong relationships that create safety for everyone, far more effectively than cameras or police ever could. That is the most important thing because and I'm sorry if I invest in this statement, but here, like, there are cameras, there are policemen everywhere, and people do not feel safe. They feel controlled because these people, yes, they have authority, but you are never gonna know how they're gonna use it. Whilst if you build good relationships with everyone, even those you do not like, because there are some pushers here, yes, but you have to understand who is who. Some of them are perilous, some of them are just kids who just arrived here and did not manage to find anything that wasn't like a slave job. And I'm really saying this with intention, because a lot of them have tried, but they do not get paid. They have to work the whole day for nothing. So they just go to something that is more accessible to them. So we should be the first one who do not judge them based on that. We should judge based on character, and we should build relationships with everybody who is deserving individually. Okay, because that creates safety, because if something happens, they're gonna protect you, you're gonna protect them if something happens as well. So it's just good network that creates safety. That is very important. So this is us. Of course, we're kind of blurry because generally the people do not like to be, on the spotlight, except me, but I come from Bari originally. So this is us. We are a mix of people. Our association also was born from the encounter of a librarian and a migrant, actually, within a public library. So 10 years ago. So, why fostering partnership is so important? Building partnership allows us to increase the social impact of our activities, avoid duplication, or also if you need to duplicate that skill, do that with intention. What I mean by that is that we might need a lot of places that implement courses for teaching the Italian language, for example. But we might not need as much, I don't know, psychological advice or financial advice, because that is highly specialized and takes highly trained people to do. So instead of duplicating that maybe with fewer resources and doing that in a way that burdens you, you could just partner with somebody who is able to do that and already has invested all their, resources into that, and do not duplicate in a way that is not sustainable, but invest in your partner. Building partnership also allows you to share skills and resources, as said, create opportunities for beneficiaries and volunteers, and strengthen financial sustainability. Now, that for us, it is a problem because we are an NGOs. An NGO. I know that a lot of you are public libraries, but you're still eligible for European funding or public grants. And that really, to have a strategy in this context means that you can apply for those grants and use them for especially migration related activities or inclusion related activities, or sometimes even just to expand your network, exchange, like we did in Warsaw with the LiBri project. It is really important to have a sustainability means for your ideas. So a living network is not just a list of contacts, it is a continuous exchange of value. We select partnership, as we said, aligned with our 4 micro areas. So for education, it's got to be schools, university, trading providers. For rights, it's got to be migrant network and support center and legal centers. For culture, it's got to be museums, libraries, foundations. For inclusion, health service, municipality, the justice system. These are a few examples of who we rely to and who is our partnership built with. We have the Salivo, the Volunteer Support Center of Liguria, very important to seek the Volunteer Support Center of your region, because it has other networks within itself. A network for volunteering if you need volunteers, a network for migrant, which in our case helps us coordinate with other migrant schools in terms of program of what we are teaching, in terms of certification of what we are teaching. They do a lot of work for us in order for us to grow in that sense. Also, the prison network, connecting inmates, ex-inmates, into social programs, that is also very useful. Or we also have this program which is called Universo, but I think there are other versions in other places, which helps us convert volunteers from university student into academic credits. That is good because people, some people do volunteers because they like it, but some people just really need something in return for their investment of time. So that is also something you should absolutely look into your area. So we are also in this forum of diaspora, which is a network of association connected to migrant and people in exile. With education, of course, the university, we have the School of Italian for Adults, which is national, but it's really under-resourced, so they connect with us through partnership, and they give us the opportunity to teach migrant and deliver sometimes a certification, which they cannot do because they do not have enough people. Or job centers as well. That is also very, very important to support migrants in their search for a job. Welfare and social institution, center of information for females, pre-consultation center, job, housing, social assistance, local health authorities with the mental health department, where we have frail people who come in a more contained, safe environment and can learn to and be useful and also have incomes because the state pays for that. And they work, to things that make them feel safe, but are also actually a competence. Also, as I said, the Justice Department, culture and territory, to spread your culture and the idea of interculture, you gotta aim high. For example, in Genova, we have the Royal Palace. This is why Genova is of shading light. It lies just right behind the worst neighborhood of town. You have the Royal Palace. And they have made an agreement with us where they hand out to migrant-free guided visits also in their language. Sometimes they switch to few languages, different languages. We have a library lending agreement, so they borrow their books for their visits from us, and that way, they stimulate our culture, our internal movement. And it is important to just defy that prejudice that the royalty, monarchies, and all these things sacred, and then there is the lower people. It's just connections. We gotta be horizontal, and I think it was in a previous webinar here that a very intelligent lady presented another toolkit and said, you gotta make, the people who are considered, who have prejudice against them in a position to reach, what is considered instead of finesse or great. And you should do that by defeating, prejudice in every possible way. So it is important. It is important. Migrants should be in these places. They should be seen these places. They should feel that these places belong to them as well, because that is true. So also university library, we have implemented our own network of libraries, transforming the old books that were within the associations in the neighborhood. We have taught them how to turn that into a proper library. We bought the software. We taught them how to properly archive them with the specific, library and archivistical, data. That means that if an association from another place in Italy needs that book from this other association that so far has only dealt with, I don't know, legal practice and all, within this network, they can reach to them. They can build a new partnership. They can, borrow books. And there is a overall growing, experience, and people are getting more comfortable with each other. They are growing professionally. There is a degree of skill that is growing, and it's in the details. More things are being mapped, more books are being mapped, and it is a demonstration that a, a library is not just a place where you get books. There is a methodology. Within knowing and taking care of books, and that can be useful to everybody. And a lot are like non-public libraries and so on and so forth. A lot foundations and companies, and also territorial pacts, very central point, pivotal. For example, one of our most important founders is the foundation of São Paulo, which is Intesa São Paulo. It's a bank. I think you know it as well, Brad. But they have like a project funding support for social activities, and they invest a lot. So it is very important to look after that. IKEA as well has provided us with, libraries like the physical library and other structures that we needed for free. Subsidiary pact in the Prague district is a pact between associations that work within our neighborhood, maybe with different aims, but we try to cooperate in order to have a collaborative idea and strategic idea on how to develop our ideas to the idea. Okay, sorry, but in general, how to develop and grow and make the people who come in our association grow. So how partnerships are born? Our collaborations emerge from previous professional relationships, concrete needs expressed by other organizations, participation in other local networks, and volunteers' personal and professional connections. You gotta investigate. If you have a volunteer, where do you come from? What do you do? Do you know somebody? Just every volunteer is a relational bridge. That is very important. How to keep the network alive? Okay, so a network is not built at once. It must be nurtured, and also reciprocity keeps partnership sustainable. Okay, so you gotta give, but you gotta ask as well, because otherwise you're gonna be drained, or the other partner is gonna be drained. You gotta subscribe to newsletter to know them better. You gotta maintain visible presence in the territory, do stuff, stick notes everywhere, or also, posters of your activities, go talk, risk being rejected, but just, let your face be known. Volunteer within other organizations. That is also very important because of the reciprocity. Okay, I can do that. Apply for grants and call for proposal, because not only for the money, but also for the skills exchange, and also because, that is a very guided way to create a partnership, because there are rules and everything. So it is a guided way to learn how to build a partnership, and then maybe you can do it more freely within your area. Invest in continuous training. Very important to train always. So what are the key lessons that we learned? A network multiplies impact. Relationships require ongoing care. Volunteers are strategic connectors. Agreements formalize trust. Grants strengthen sustainability. So these are the most important things to make a partnership that is actually very strong. Okay? But be mindful, because everything seems like the flowers that I put in these presentations. But it's not always as easy. Partnering with a network or association is never a neutral decision. And if you've been into, let's say, a group of friends that was not for you, and that was continuously demanding or not aligning with the activities you wanted to do, you would know how hard that can be. Especially a lot of people want to change the world. A lot of people want migrants to be included in the society, but not everybody wants it the same way or has the same idea of how that should happen. So that is very important, that you understand that every partnership carries political, social, and strategic consequences that you have to evaluate very carefully. Social activities, by definition, are not apolitical. We cannot live that dream. Every choice signals values and alignment, so be mindful about that. Some networks are inclusive to certain groups while excluding to others. And I'm not talking migrants, I'm talking other associations. Okay? So because associations are like people, they fight with each other even though they are aligned within the same ultimate scope. Okay? Partnerships create both direct and indirect effects on your organization overall. So the key questions to ask when evaluating a partnership: consider, does this partnership provide more opportunities than obligations? Are we gaining value or mainly being required to participate in their activities and assessments? That is important because you get slower, okay? The bureaucracy rises and you get slower in your decisional process. So that is an assessment to make. Does this collaboration genuinely support our growth as a library or NGO, or this is just, a face value thing? Important. How much does it demand from us financially, administratively, and strategically? Because if we are the administrative partner and we got to do all the bureaucracy and everything, and that, engulfs our whole process, and we cannot provide all the, the practical things that we're providing back then because we are full of this, that is a problem, to the service, to the ultimate user. So consider that very well. So the final reflection: when choosing partners, when reflecting upon a partnership, when building a network, be intentional. Do not not everybody that comes across and be like, oh, I would like to do that with you. Okay, do you have, a newsletter, the website, something that I can look into? Can we talk? Can we do some informal activities together first to see how we align? Ask, choose partnerships that empower and not burden, that align with your mission, capacity, and long-term goals. Okay? So my conclusion is that fostering partnership is not an additional strategy, it is the core of our work. For Semiforesti, we grow because our network grow with intention, just like how you water your garden, you got to be intentional, know the season and know how everything is going. We cultivate relationship, we plant seeds, and we grow forest of relationships. So thank you, that was me. Thank you for listening. I am Michelle Ciliberti. If you want, you can contact me at biblioteca@semiforesti.org. And grazie a tutti. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was incredible. It was really, really enlightening to hear. And I loved the way you broke it down so clearly and told people that, it's not like you just take every partnership you can get. Instead, you should also be kind of choosy. Thank you for kind of clarifying that. Let's open it up for Q&A. Who has questions? You can raise your hand. You can write it in the chat. Oh, Claire, I see.
Yes, I have one question. So actually, in LiBri, one of our main partners in the partnerships was the local authorities. So how do you see them as a partner in your project, and how do you keep them involved to support your action?
Yeah, local authorities for us are very important because actually we are not currently paying for the building that we operate in. It is supplied for free by the municipality of Genoa because they believe in our work. And we are going maybe to participate. I don't know how to say, but it is a public public call for associations that want to occupy another building because we want to expand. But we are trying to we will join that, but we are trying also to see if the municipality is open to other type of agreements. Maybe there is a displaced place that they do not like, and we could renew. So we talk to them all the time. We apply to this sort of calls when it's needed. So you gotta have your eyes open, and newsletters and this kind of stuff really help. Also, personal connections from volunteers really help. Like a volunteer that worked in the municipality knows people, and it's like has the first hand information. So this call is gonna go on, so just join. Prepare your documents. That is very important. So municipality is fundamental. They also supply us with an IT technician, which helps us, manage the computers and everything, because we're volunteers. So we miss that a lot. Sometimes we miss that competence a lot. So it is fundamental to have a good relationship with both political alignment, honestly, because we managed to prove that the impact of our work was more important than the ideal denomination of who is who. We actually created a safe place, and that cannot be denied by anybody, of either political sphere. So that is also what it means, to always be mindful. Are they going to use us for political propaganda? No, not really. But you both have to keep in mind what we really reached, and the type of safety that we provide by being there. Just being there, being there, talking with people, talking with everybody, not having the prejudice. And that cannot be denied as easily as a lot of other things, I guess.
Thank you very much. Super interesting.
I'm reading the chat. Thank you for everyone. It's been a lot of compliments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? I'm not seeing any in the chat if anyone wants to raise their hand or...
Was it? I talked about I talked a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
it was
thorough.
very clear. Like you had I had one last question. Like sometimes it happens you create partnerships with organization of person, and then the involvement is not quite there. So how would you address this kind of issue?
Well, that is the reason why I put that slide in my presentation, because it has happened to us a lot. But at some point, it's like growing up and standing up to your bully, I guess. You have to still be diplomatic, but at some point you have to say we were in a partnership, in a network that we didn't like, but we couldn't get out of it, as easily because we signed an agreement. So we decided we're just not going to take any money from you. Okay, you're gonna make all of your activities, you're gonna do whatever you like, but we do not like the process. You slow us down, you ask a lot of us, you give very little and very too late, because those money were happening, but just too late, after the activities. So even we just quiet quit, not even so quietly, but we just say, if you want us to be involved in your activities, then we have to speed up the process a little bit. You have to listen to us as well. But if you don't want us to be involved, you're not going to ask any money, even when they do like cool activities. Of course, it is a choice that you have to make. But we are going to be independent. When you have obligations contractually, well, this is why I say assess your partnership before. But when you have contractual obligations because you were granted some money, for example, then you got to be vocal about it. You have to be like, we can do up to this, or just maybe sometimes ask a lot, and be like, you're demanding a lot from us, and I don't think that is very sustainable, so you got to be there for us too. It really depends, but with time, partnerships are really like, growing up out of high school. You have your insecurities, you have these things that they're pressing on you, the peer pressure, and then you learn to speak, and then you learn to speak properly, and then you learn to speak with diplomacy and be efficient. you know it is a growing process, but yeah, I think, finding the right words and studying a lot who you're associating with, and also be clear and frank and coherent with what you want to do is what is
Okay,
going to
and
help
just
in this
maybe
process.
one last question very quickly, because we
Mhm.
are running out of time. But who
Yeah.
is managing these partnerships concretely? Is it you as coordinator, or do you have one person who is dealing
Oh,
with it?
being a volunteer association, we have like a core of the board of directors. I guess we could say in English, but it's mainly activists. I call myself an activist, not just a volunteer, because the difference is that activists, give out other than a little bit more time, but they give out more strategic. They decided
Advice?
more strategically, what the line is going to be. So when for some projects, yes, I manage. For some others, Alessandro or Andrea do, but mainly everything is coordinated by our president, Ivana Calegari, which is also, she is also the founder and a former librarian. So she has built these networks thanks to her connections mainly, and then everybody brought something, and we try to have the five of us try to have like the most complete idea of what is going on. We share, and then in a kind of a root sort of uh, tree, upside down tree. Yeah, all the others volunteers know and coordinate their little space. For example, an Italian teacher can introduce the student to the CPA or help them in that way. But mainly we the activists of the association try to have everything under our eyes, let's say.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I appreciate everyone for being here, and thank you for all of the love in the chat as well. That's awesome. I'm going to go through and share some links with you all in the chat, so go ahead and check them out. The first one you're going to see is a webinar satisfaction form. It's the evaluation. We do look at these. Thank you for everyone. If you have a moment to go ahead and open it, you could fill it out now or later. We use your suggestions because we are going to be having 4 more webinars in March. And so that leads to the next slide, which is the registration form and the dates for you to go ahead and take out your agendas, mark them down. So March 10th, Tuesday, we're going to be having a series of 4 webinars on different topics. They are all aligned and they're all pretty much case studies so that you can go into your own library and feel like you have the tools to improve your communication strategies, for instance, for the first one. For the second seminar, it'll be on advocacy. The third will be on fundraising, individual and corporate. And the fourth one will also be on fundraising, but grant opportunities. So these webinars are not going to be as the previous ones have been in the series, but FRSI, one of our partner organizations from Poland, is going to be leading these webinars. We will be there. We'll be with you. And as Claire's marked in the chat, those of you who were in Warsaw for the sustainability meeting of LiBri, these webinars are going to be the online versions. So I believe in Warsaw, you were only able to choose one. And so now you can kind of pick and choose. If you already attended the advocacy webinar, then maybe you want to go ahead and choose the communication one this time. Again, these are open to everyone. If you weren't in Warsaw, I wasn't there, I'm going to be at all of these. Everyone is, again, it's open. It's welcome to everyone to attend these. In the chat, you can find the registration link. Also in the chat, I put the link for downloading the toolkits. It's a quick survey, a few questions, and then you'll have the option to access the toolkits in different languages, 5 different languages. And the next one is our LinkedIn community of practice page. If you are not already a member, please go ahead and join us. That's where we post information about the upcoming webinars. We'll be posting a video of today's webinar once it's uploaded. Thank you to EBLIDA and everyone there for helping and hosting our webinar videos. And finally, the last link in the chat is a Linktree where you can find all previously recorded webinars and resources that are available on YouTube, again, hosted by EBLIDA, and that has the ability to watch them with subtitles in the language of your choice created by AI. And thank you. I've also, let me make sure I put in Michelle's email that she had shared with us. So if anyone has any questions, if that's okay, you had it in your slideshow, and I will add mine as well, but please reach out with any question. And thank you all for being here. Any final words?
No, I just mean it was very nice to see many people coming from other countries than the LiBri countries. I was very amazed to see people from Indonesia, for example. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you for IFLA and EBLIDA for sharing our invitations. The partnerships again, and that was very fruitful in the project. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next month.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the love. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.